people to arrive. Julia's going to get us live streamed. Okay, we can begin with introductions. Again, I'm Rochelle Conant. I am the public defender in Kane County. Julia, I don't know if it's easier for you to.
Sure, I can do that. Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Julia Schick, for those that I see some new faces, so that I haven't met. I'm the coordinator for the Kane County Juvenile Justice Council, and I see Michael next. Isaacson. Sorry, Mike, Joanne. There's two of you.
Oh yeah, great. Always plenty of Mikes and Michaels around for sure. Michael Isaacson, I'm Executive Director at the Kane County Health Department. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Jen.
Jen Fugia, Business Development Coordinator with Gateway Foundation, Substance Use Disorder Treatment Center. We do 17 and a half and above for substance use disorder, residential and outpatient services.
Maria.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Community Health Initiatives Coordinator on the Children's Mental Health at the Kane County Health Department.
Thank you. Latanya.
Latanya Hill, I'm Director for Kane County Court Services or Juvenile Probation.
Thank you. Maggie. Uh-oh, we are not hearing you, Maggie. Go ahead, skip you. Okay. Mike Doyen now.
I'm Mike Doyen. I'm an attorney in Elgin, Illinois. I'm the representative for the Kane County Bar Association on the council.
Thank you. Kate.
I'm Kate McCormick. I'm also from the Kane County Health Department. I'm the program manager for the Kane County System of Care Grant, which is our children's mental health grant. So Anna Cerniak, for anybody who knew her, I think she used to come to these meetings. She actually moved to North Carolina and she's doing fine, doing well. And I took the program manager job, and Maria is our new outreach coordinator. So we're both here today and we'll be taking turns coming to this meeting. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Maggie. Kane County Collaborative Diversion. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Mike Davis. Oh gosh, there's three Mikes. Sorry.
Yeah, Mike number three. Mike Davis. I'm the superintendent at the Juvenile Justice Center.
Thank you. Martha.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marta Infante. I'm with East Aurora School District 131, and I'm the project manager for CVAC and the Student Tracker.
Thank you. Zachary.
Hello, I'm Zach Rose. I work with the National Youth Advocate Program. I'm the team lead for our Kane County WIOA Mental Health and Mentorship Program.
Thank you. Delisa.
Good morning. I'm Delisa Bynum. I'm the Chief Record Officer for the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice.
Thank you. Mariana.
Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mariana from Rush Copley Medical Center. I'm the Community Health Outreach Coordinator, and I believe this might be my first meeting, so just listening in. So thank you.
Thanks for being here. And last but not least, oh, and we have somebody else coming in too. Sorry if I do not pronounce this correctly. Is it Ismail?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ishmael. Not a problem. It's a very unique name for most people. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator for Greater Family Health, a federally qualified health center throughout Northern Illinois. So happy to see you guys again virtually.
Thanks, Ishmael. Thanks for being here. All right, the other three are connecting.
He lives on the west side of it. If you tell me they came home with me.
If he got.
All right. Josh, do you want to introduce yourself? We're just doing introductions.
Sure. Good morning, Josh Axelson, Coordinator of Alternative Programs from the Kane County Regional Office of Education.
Thank you. Ivy, Mana, we're just doing introductions.
Hi, could you hear me?
Yep, it's a little quiet, but I can hear you.
Okay. My name is Adi Mana. I am the MSP supervisor with One Hope United. Hi.
Hello, thank you. And then Kristen Lorsdorfer.
Hello, I'm Kristen Lorsdorfer. I am with North Aurora Police representing the Kane County Juvenile Officer Association.
Thank you. All right, so we are still one shy of a quorum.
All right, well, we will move forward with the updates. Thank you all for attending. We will skip approval of minutes until we see if we get a quorum some point in the meeting. So the first matter of business is the chairman's report and a financial update. In December, we spent $1,346.68. That was for personnel, benefits, and supplies. And year to date, we have spent $11,673.73. In December, at the beginning of December, we had a site visit for our council, and members of the board of directors participated in that site visit to provide an overview of what our Juvenile Justice Council has focused on throughout the last year. And we were asked questions, what things that we are focusing on, what things that we have made priorities for. As part of that site visit, we did learn that our grant may possibly be impacted for the 2024 fiscal year 2024, correct, Julia? 2024, yeah. So that is something that the board of directors, we will be working on. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but will be a focus for us throughout the year. And so that is part of what we are going to discuss in new business, because we're trying to focus in on the best way to use our grant so that we can present the best possible application and continue to get our grant. And so that is all of the chairman's report. I will move on to old business. And these were our fiscal year 22 priorities. The first was youth and parents. There was a two-part parent equity workshop. The first part was held in 2022. The second part was supposed to be set for the end of January, but we are still waiting upon word as to when that will take place. Also in fiscal year 2022, one of our priorities was to get to engage youth as part of the Juvenile Justice Council. At the site visit, that was one of the things that we did raise as a board, our focus to try to get youth involved, but our limitations in being able to do that. Members who came for the site visit, they had some hopefully some possibilities for us, and they were going to try to connect us with a few youth. We have not heard back from them yet, but of course there was the holidays in there. So we are hoping that we will hear back from them soon, and that may be a possibility to get youth involved. But we wanted to bring it up here too, because if any of our providers have any ideas of ways that we could have youth involved as part of our board of directors, we certainly would be open to those ideas, and you can reach out to Julia. We don't have monetary compensation, but we do have gift cards that we can use as incentive, if that is helpful. So certainly if you have ideas as to how youth that, or maybe you have specifically a youth that you think would be a perfect fit for us, please reach out to Julia, because this is something that we continue to work on. Any questions on that? Okay. Next is law enforcement. We still are working to try to get some more officers to do our juvenile justice jeopardy. It was taken to the Officers Association, to the Juvenile Officers Association, but Julia has not heard anything back yet. So we continue to work on that, and that is an issue that we will be raising with the board of directors. As to restorative practices, we have no new updates. And our expungement packet. So one of the things that we had discussed last year with our expungement packet was whether it was reader friendly to our targeted audience. And so Julia is currently working with the packet and running it through software to determine reading level and what words maybe we can change to make it more reader friendly for our targeted audience. One of the issues that we have is there are a lot of legal terms in that document, and those are terms that have to be in there because those are things that will be raised in court that the minors and their family will hear. So it's just really difficult to make this reader friendly for minors because there are so many legal terms, but we are working on it. Hopefully we will have a new updated version to pass out to everyone. After Julia finishes this part of it, the next step is that we're going to look at trying to get youth review as well to see how they understand it. So hopefully more to come on that soon. Any questions in regards to any of that? So that was all of our old business. We can move on to our fiscal year 2023 priorities. First is the JJC restructure. So last year we created a work group to look at the structure of the Juvenile Justice Council. That work group met several times last year, most recently right before the holidays. They have discussed the need to have a tangible outcome in order to determine an appropriate structure and purpose for our council. It was proposed identifying a specific focus to run by the board of directors that would result in a plan to address the focus and implementation of the plan, which hopefully would then help us inform our needed structure going forward. Julia is going to outline a strategic planning process for the JJC to help clarify how the JJC can function and research. We're going to look at other jurisdictions to see if we can offer ideas as to their successes, their tangible goals that they have met, and to kind of look and see what goals we can accomplish and utilize here. So that group will continue to meet into the new year. And that kind of brings us also to the JJC symposium. Julie, do you want to talk? Are you okay to talk about this?
Yep, I can go. So we have been discussing, you might remember we talked about doing an annual conference. It's kind of now transitioned to being an annual symposium. It's now transitioned to being a speaker series. So we can offer it virtually. We felt like based on some of the survey responses and some of the discussion that we've had that it might be a more effective use of everyone's time if we start that way. And then maybe if we feel like we want to do an in-person symposium down the road and we have that funding available, we can do so. So I am in the process of speaking or coordinating with the speakers. We have 3 different speakers that we're talking to. The first one is from Georgetown University, the Center for Juvenile Justice Reform. We worked with them years ago, back in 2016, for a multi-system collaboration and technical assistance program that they ran. So she is actually one of the staff members that we worked with at that time and has continued her work with the Center for Juvenile Justice Reform and has done some presentations for other national juvenile justice conferences. And so I've asked her to do a presentation around the use of data, how we can be effective with our use of data, kind of why that's the driving force behind some of the decisions that we make, and how it can really impact the outcomes and ultimately what we see. So I've asked her for a synopsis of that presentation. I'm still waiting for that one. I'm told that we're hoping to get that by the end of this week, and as well as a cost for her being the speaker. The second speaker is a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. She did a presentation in the summer for the Illinois Collaboration on Youth around racial equity. And so she has asked to do a 2-part session around talking about racial equity and kind of just the basics behind it. She does more of a self-reflective approach and thinking about how you know, your own perspectives, your own experiences kind of shape how you see the world. And then how that then plays into some of the structures that we have in place. And then the second session is going to get a little bit more specific into some of the racial equity, the racial and ethnic disparity conversations that we've had among the council. She's going to kind of do some discussion around that. So that one is again, the second and third sessions that are planned. She has given us a proposed cost, which will need to be brought to the board of directors. And then she's given us a synopsis as well. So that'll be sent out for when we have everything kind of put together for an email vote. The last speaker comes from the National Council on State Governments. I'm trying to remember her. They have a department there where she's coming from. So she has done a presentation for the Probation and Parole Association most recently around thinking about sort of like the effective strategies once you have the data, what are some of those effective strategies that can be implemented to be responsive to the data, specifically looking at some of the court conditions that come out for youth that end up on probation was kind of the targeted, but they are doing a more, she's going to do a broader presentation. We're looking just in general, how do you be strategic with the interventions that are put into place. Sorry, let me let the judge in here. And so they are going to do that at no cost for us, fortunately. Some of it too is that they're working already with 2 jurisdictions in Illinois, Kendall County and Cook County, and they're talking about having interest in doing some statewide work with Illinois as well. So when we brought this up to the commission, they were interested in connecting with them, with the speaker from the Council of State Governments as well, just based on the work that she was doing. So we're hoping that that'll be a good session. The plan is for each session to be about an hour over the lunch hour to accommodate as many schedules as we can. Right now, the first session is tentatively looking like it'll take place at the end of February, beginning of March, and then we'll kind of stagger from there. I'm anticipating maybe April, beginning of April, mid-April for the second session. And because the third session builds on the second session, we're going to put those kind of closer together. So there might be like a week or two in between those two. And then the fourth session will take place probably mid-May, around that time. We will look into doing continuing ed credits, but professional development credits, whatever different disciplines are needing. I know we're opening this up to multiple disciplines, so we're going to try and be as comprehensive as we can in our continuing ed credit. It is going to be open to anyone in Kane County anyone who's working with Kane County youth, I should say, especially those that are maybe at risk for juvenile justice system involvement, or in thinking about kind of preventing them from their path to the juvenile justice system. I'm trying to remember what else I need to share. So right now I'm just finalizing the proposal or the plan, getting the speakers, getting their bios so that we can take a look and make sure that we're okay moving forward with it. So I'm getting the bios, the synopsis of their presentation, and then cost. And then it'll likely go out in an email vote to the board of directors for approval before we move forward and finalize any further details. I'm also, of course, waiting for the dates with schedules. But that is the speaker series that we're planning so far.
Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, thanks, Julia. Moving on to racial and ethnic disparities, our RED team has a new meeting scheduled for January 18th at 1 p.m. And then the JJC statewide committee, the whole committee is to convene on January 25th. prior to the end of the year, the TTAS work group met to continue outlining the TTA process in preparation to work with Lake and Madison County in the new year. The second work group focused on improving data collection and will be scheduling an initial meeting. I don't know, Julia, if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, it's been pretty quiet.
Okay, all right. And then our adolescent domestic battery work group. Again, this was something that we convened last year and have been working on. We met on January 10th. We discussed some of the upcoming efforts on a statewide level to offer education about issues of domestic violence. Unfortunately, a lot of those only focus on intimate partner abuse or adult cases. So we're not sure that those are going to be a help for us or for our work group. What the work group is still sort of focusing on is that there needs to be some revisions to the statute in order to support the implementation of a countywide protocol for addressing and responding to adolescent domestic battery offenses. So our next steps include we need to look at what is needed to make those statutory revisions and who our contact persons or a person should be to start getting support for that. And working with local law enforcement to explore how they currently respond to adolescent domestic battery offenses. And also we discussed the possibility of a countywide protocol to inform law enforcement agencies and what that would look like. So that is where we are with that work group and what we will probably be working on for the rest of this year in regards to that work group. Any questions about that? If anyone has any interest in any of our work groups, definitely please reach out to Julia. We are always looking for new ideas and new faces for those. Then our new business, the fiscal year 2024 grant. Julia is currently prepping for the grant application. And as we discussed, and Julia may want to weigh in on this, there are some concerns about the statewide budget and us getting our full grant. And so we are really trying to be very purposeful in what we are putting in the grant and be purposeful with the money that we have now so that we can show that we are using it, utilizing it and adequately and for the right purposes so that hopefully we will continue to get that. But with that being said, if any of the council members have any suggestions or ideas that you would like to see included as part of the grant application, please reach out to Julia to discuss those with her. Because as I said, she is currently working on it. So I don't know, Julia, if you wanted to add anything to that.
I can just speak to as far as like the status of funding goes. We are hoping that we'll have more information. I think they were at the site visit, they told us around February or March to know. And to Rochelle's point, I think it's really showing that these councils are a worthwhile investment because it's not so much that they're going to select certain jurisdictions that won't receive funding, but more so that they're looking at program cuts. So which program may they have to prioritize over other programs? Or that are receiving the grant funding. So I think we're kind of just making sure that we are justifying our presence in our community and how these councils can be useful across the state.
Any questions on that? So please reach out to Julia with any ideas. Be very helpful. All right, then our last item, there were no, oh, we have a quorum too. There are no legislative updates. It was has been kind of quiet since October. I don't know if anyone anyone, any of our council members have come across something that maybe we may have missed as far as legislative updates. So if you have, please share with the group. And then if there was anything else that anyone wanted to share in regards to their agencies. Okay. Then we just have one matter of business now that we have a quorum, correct, Julia? Okay, so that it is just for the approval of minutes. Tanya needs to get off, so we're going to do this really quickly. It is for the approval of minutes from December. As to the board of directors, if there are any additions or deletions to those minutes that you received. Okay, then hearing nothing, then the December minutes will be approved as submitted. Then our next quarterly meeting will be April 13th at 11:30. Again, that will be virtual and Julia will send out the link for that. And then our next board of directors meeting is February 9th at noon. Anything that anyone else needed to discuss? All right. Then if I could have a motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Then it is 12:05 and we are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.